So this woman, her name's Carlee, and she's driving down the highway one night. And out the window, she spots a toddler walking on the side of the highway near the woods. So she pulls over under the shoulder and immediately calls 911.
911, where's your emergency?
Hi, I am on Interstate 459, and there is a kid just walking by themselves.
So then Carlee gets out of the car to check on the kid. And that's when, out of nowhere, a man came out of the trees. He had orange hair and a big bald spot. And he mumbled something about he was just checking on the kid. And then suddenly, boom, the man grabs Carlee. She screams. He then picked her up and he forced her to go over a fence. And he shoved her into his car. And eventually, she ends up in the back of an 18-wheeler. But Carlee's crafty. She manages to escape the 18-wheeler and she runs. But they chase her down and they capture her again. Meanwhile, because of Carlee's 911 call, the police have shown up to the side of the highway to check on this lost toddler. When they pull up, Carlee's car is still there, still running, and the door is wide open. Her wig, her phone, her purse are all with the car. And there's no trace of her, and there's no trace of the toddler. Carlee is officially missing. And this ignites a massive search party.
25-year-old Carlee Russell vanished Thursday.
Local, state, and federal agencies all came to help. All the members of her community pitched in.
If you know any information about where Carlee Russell is.
But by this time, the kidnappers are way ahead of everyone. They take Carlee to a small house in a remote location, and she's blindfolded, but they don't tie her up because they don't want to leave marks on her wrists. And that's when they take explicit photos of her. And eventually, they put her in a vehicle again to take her somewhere. And it's here she makes a run for it. And she runs through lots and lots of woods, and she just keeps running until she eventually shows up at her parents' door. Barefoot, cut on her lip, ripped t-shirt, but she was safe. She had been missing for 49 hours, so around 2 days. Now police, they eventually have the opportunity to question her about all this. During that 49 hours she was gone, the police find a lot of strange things. They find that right before she went missing, she stops at Target and buys a bunch of snacks, Cheez-Its and granola bars, but those snacks weren't with the car. They also find CCTV footage of her that same day, stealing a bathrobe and a bunch of toilet paper from her work, almost like she was gathering supplies. Then they're able to look at the traffic cameras and review the footage when she stopped along the highway. And they notice that after she spots the toddler, she drives a really long distance along the shoulder.
600 yards. That is 6 football fields straight.
Was the toddler like running along the side of her car at the same speed she was driving? Then police get a hold of her search history, and they find searches for things like, do I have to pay for an Amber Alert? The maximum age for an Amber Alert? How to take money from a register without being caught? Searches for bus tickets, and even searches about the movie Taken.
I do think it's highly unusual. The day that someone gets kidnapped, they're searching the internet, Googling the movie Taken.
So by the time she showed up to her parents' house that day, barefoot, with a ripped shirt, police were already skeptical of her story. And they eventually came to the conclusion there was no kidnapping. There was no orange-haired man, no 18-wheeler, no house in a remote location, and as far as the toddler goes,
The Hoover Police Department did not locate any evidence of a small child.
she made it all up.
We still don't know what happened in those 49 hours, where she was, did she have any help? We have no idea.
Since then, she's been charged with falsely reporting an incident and some other things, and about a week ago, she was sentenced to 1 year in jail and an $18,000 fine to pay back search efforts. Also, this happened in Hoover, Alabama, so shout out to Alabama.